Well, last day of running Tinks for a while. The day before I leave for Wyoming. Just starting to turn it on for cats too. And she has to come into heat for me. Come on, Spade, over here. I don't get these dogs. Fuck it. Breed them, think you change the heat cycles. Still only off by 2 weeks. Shit. On a cat in the middle of the buckthorn. It's a nice sized cat too. Tinks is moving it really good. Other dogs aren't coming so well, but it's a decent sized cat. Probably a 30-pounder. Oh, hiked for quite a while now. See if I can't catch up to her. Hopefully she gets a treat. We don't have to catch it on a road or something. Wish me luck. Looks kind of wet down there. Right on the creek, running up the creek. Should be good. I've honestly seen more cat tracks here than I've ever seen in my life. I haven't seen a deer in a while. I haven't seen a rabbit. Right on the creek. All I've seen is cat tracks. Everywhere. Oh, bobcat hunting, found this. Bobcat came in here somewhere. I think it crossed right there, but we're still looking. So that's what the track looks like. A little bit of snow in it. But then so does Tinks' track. So I'd say it's just as hot as she is. Damn near. Going right for the pines. If I start walking that way, I bet you the shit out across the road. It'll be about perfect. Get into a little bit of a better block to get around. I can get to my truck. Fuck yeah. So, that hunt, it was the last day I was able to hunt Tinks this year. Then she came into heat. Dogs did a bang-up job on it. They cold trailed it, never quite got it jumped. I ended up in swamps up to my hips in mud. I've been in drier swamps bear hunting. So I was still trying to get it going, couldn't get it going. Jerry dumped in his male. Even though Tinks was in heat, we figured it was way too early for her to get pregnant. So we dumped him in. He tore off. We thought almost going up the cat track, but he was off by a little bit. Tinks and the other female in there with her tore after him. They made one hell of a chase, ended up jumping it. They ran it for about 1.5 miles. They crossed the creek. I wasn't able to get around by him, get close and get a shot or even see how close they were to it. But then they crossed the creek. They hung up a little bit on the creek, but then after they got across the creek, they got right back on it again. Brought it down almost to me. Maybe 75 yards from me. I was in thick swamp, couldn't see it. I turned it north and went out across the pines right where they usually cross. Bobcats, coyotes, seems like everything likes crossing the same spot. Came on the radio, told the guy with the cat tag where to be. He ended up being in the perfect spot. He shot the coyote, and like 30 seconds after, Tinks came out and Junior came out right after her. I don't think Tinks was the one that jumped that cat. I hope not. She was doing a really good job. I know I'd seen other coyote tracks that she had just ignored up until Junior got on that one. The female in there, she was doing a really good job cold trailing, but there's a whole story behind her. So I've hunted with this dog a lot when she was a little younger, and she was a hell of a dog. Fast, gritty, trees real good. She's been on bobcats before, done a bang-up job. She got sold at the end of bear season to somebody I kind of know, but whom I can't say too much about. A little bit I know on her. She's kind of a little bit crazy, but I won't go there with her. So she texted me a couple weeks before this asking me if this dog even runs, thinking that Jerry has just screwed her over. There's nothing that, or no way possible, rather, that this dog could run a bobcat. All right, whatever. I tell her, I'm like, I've hunted her on bobcat. She's done really well. Hunted her on bear. She's done amazing on bear. There's no reason why this dog isn't working out for you. Jerry is super honest. Dog didn't work out for you. He'll give you your money back. Bring it back. Jerry's talking to her husband. Kind of the same thing. Jerry goes to pick this dog up. The husband's like, yeah, she'd run tracks. She'd even cold trail these bobcats. She'd run them and she'd just lay down. They didn't understand it. There's no reason why that dog should be laying down on a hot bobcat. Well, then he saw her. There's no way that dog had been fed. And I'm sorry, but there's no reason why Jerry should have gave them their money back. The only reason that dog did hunt, or didn't hunt, is because she wasn't fed. If she'd have been fed, she'd have probably jumped all those bobcats and ran the shit out of them. But so, Jerry got her back about a week before, well, maybe a week and a half before we went hunting that day. Started feeding her better. She was feeling better. She just didn't have the energy even to keep up with Tinks. And even cold trailing and everything, she fell behind. She didn't have the energy to go. And then on the jump coyote, she did a pretty good job, but she definitely fell behind. She just didn't have the energy to keep up with the jump coyote.